Whispers in the shadows. The first time I laid eyes on the Weathered Oaks Hotel, I knew there was something wrong. Its imposing facade loomed over me like a spectre of the past, its windows dark and foreboding, as if hiding secrets too terrible to be seen by mortal eyes. But with nowhere else to stay in this remote town, I had no choice but to check in and hope for the best. As I entered the lobby, a chill swept through me, sending shivers down my spine. The air was thick with dust, and the only sound was the creaking of floorboards beneath my feet. The receptionist greeted me with a forced smile, her eyes hollow and devoid of warmth. I brushed off the feeling of unease, chalking it up to exhaustion after a long day of travel. The room they gave me was dimly lit, the curtains drawn tight against the darkness outside. The bed looked inviting, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind outside sent my heart racing, and I found myself unable to relax. As the night wore on, strange things began to happen. Shadows danced in the corners of the room, shapes that seemed to move of their own accord. I could hear faint whispers echoing through the walls, their words indistinct but filled with malice. I told myself it was just my imagination, that the stress of the day was playing tricks on my mind. But then I saw her, a woman dressed in Victorian-era clothing, her face obscured by shadows. She stood in the corner of the room, watching me with empty eyes that seemed to peer straight through. To my soul, I tried to scream, to call for help, but no sound escaped my lips. In a panic, I fled from the room, stumbling down the hallway in search of safety. But the hotel seemed to twist and turn, its layout shifting with each step I took. Doors appeared where there had been none before, leading to darkened rooms that seemed to stretch on for eternity. I stumbled upon the reception desk, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The receptionist was gone, replaced by an empty chair and a flickering candle that cast long shadows on the walls. I could feel eyes on me, hundreds of them, watching from the darkness beyond. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the whispers stopped. The shadows receded, and I was left standing alone in the silence of the night. But the memory of what I had seen would haunt me forever, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within the walls of the Weathered Oaks Hotel. I fled from the hotel at first light, vowing never to return. But even now, years later, I can still hear the whispers in the shadows, their words a chilling echo of the terror I experienced that night. And though I tried to convince myself it was all just a dream, deep down, I know the truth. The Weathered Oaks Hotel is a place of darkness, a place where nightmares come to life. Echoes of the Forgotten. The Grand Hotel stood tall and imposing against the backdrop of the moonlit sky, its ancient facade weathered by the passage of time. From the moment I stepped foot inside, a sense of unease washed over me, like a chill wind whispering secrets of the forgotten past. I checked in at the front desk, the clerk's eyes darting nervously as he handed me the key to my room. His demeanor was unsettling, his words clipped and terse, as if he were hiding something. But I brushed off my apprehensions, attributing them to the late hour and the eerie atmosphere of the hotel. As I made my way to my room, the hallway seemed to stretch on endlessly, the dim lights casting long shadows that danced along the walls. The air was heavy with the scent of mildew and decay, a tangible reminder of the hotel's age. I reached my room at last, the key turning with a rusty groan as I pushed open the door. The room was dimly lit, the curtains drawn tight against the night outside. I set down my bag and began to unpack, trying to shake off the feeling of unease that clung to me, like a second skin. But as the hours passed, sleep eluded me, the silence of the hotel broken only by the creaking of floorboards, and the distant sound of muffled whispers, I tossed and turned, my mind plagued by visions of shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, their eyes glowing with malevolent intent. Finally, unable to bear the oppressive atmosphere any longer, I rose from bed and ventured out into the hallway, the floorboards groaning beneath my weight. I had to know the source of the whispers, the secrets that seemed to lurk around every corner. As I wandered the labyrinthine corridors of the hotel, the whispers grew louder, their voices swirling around me like a whirlwind of sound. I followed them, drawn deeper into the heart of the building, until at last I reached a door unlike any other. The door was old and weathered, its surface etched with strange symbols that seemed to writhe and twist in the dim light. With a sense of trepidation, I reached out and pushed it open, revealing a staircase that descended into darkness. I descended the stairs, each step echoing with a hollow thud, until at last I reached the bottom and found myself in a vast, cavernous chamber. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the walls were lined with shelves upon shelves of dusty artifacts, their surfaces gleaming in the dim light. But it was not the artifacts that caught my eye, it was the figures that stood among them, their faces twisted into grotesque masks of agony, their bodies contorted and mangled beyond recognition. They seemed to reach out to me, their silent screams echoing in the darkness. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest, as I realized the truth: the hotel was a prison, a sanctuary for lost souls trapped between worlds, and I had unwittingly stumbled into their domain. With a sense of horror, I turned to flee, but as I reached the staircase, a voice echoed through the chamber, a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It spoke of forgotten sins and ancient curses, promising me a fate worse than death if I dared to leave. I ignored the voice and ran, my footsteps echoing through the chamber as I ascended the stairs two at a time. Behind me, I could hear the whispers growing louder, their voices mingling with the sound of my own frantic breathing. I burst through the door at the top of the stairs and stumbled into the hallway, the door slamming shut behind me with a finality that sent a shiver down my spine. I fled down the corridor, my heart racing as I prayed for escape from the nightmare that had consumed me. At last, I reached the lobby, the clerk's eyes widening in alarm as he saw the fear etched upon my face. But before I could speak, the hotel seemed to ripple and shift around me, its walls melting away to reveal the darkness that lay beyond. With a cry of terror, I fled into the night, leaving the hotel and its secrets behind me. But as I looked back over my shoulder, I knew that I would never truly escape the horrors that lurked within its walls, the echoes of the forgotten souls that haunted its every corridor.